Record. So I don't have slides tonight because I kind of wanted to do more of an interactive thing. Um, and I wanted to kind of see like show of hands when I ask you guys questions and stuff. So that's why we don't really have slides. I was debating whether or not to do slides, and I felt like we maybe will do another call with some slides like this, but I felt like for tonight, I wanted to kind of ask some questions and stuff like that and get kind of some feedback. So, and I feel like that's hard to do when you have slides in front of your face. So, so tonight we're going to talk about price objections, and I was really curious. That's why I kept asking so many questions on that thread about price objections and how many of you guys were experiencing them. And after talking to a few of you guys, I found that it's actually good news that a lot of you guys aren't really experiencing like true price objections. You're experiencing more of kind of like, I'm not ready yet objections. After I read through several of your guys' conversations and I saw a lot of really good stuff, which was great. It was really good feedback for me that you guys are doing great in your conversations. So that was actually really revealing and comforting to me, because I was like, okay, if so many people are having this issue, obviously I'm not covering that well enough, or I'm not teaching that well enough. So it was good feedback for me to see. And I don't want you guys to ever feel like afraid or to send me screenshots, because it's really helpful for me to be able to see like what's happening, because everybody does things different. We all guide our conversations differently. And obviously the way that I do things is going to be probably different. And every conversation, obviously, with every person is usually different. Like there's no standard textbook way. There are some people that use scripts, and I personally don't use them because I feel like it takes out a lot of the personal like touch in conversation. And I freaking hate when people come, like just the other day I had somebody like mass message me something that was obviously like they sent it to like 50 people, and that to me is so impersonal. So I don't like doing that. So that's why I typically don't really use scripts. And I feel like with scripts, like everybody has different questions, and the context in which like people have questions and the way that you talk to people maybe differently. Like if somebody is an acquaintance and you don't really know them versus somebody that you may know really well, like the way that you talk to them is a little bit different in conversation. So so I don't really use scripts. That's why I don't really have them to share because I want to it's on my list right now to create a file with, and if for those of you guys that are willing to submit examples that you have, but I want to eventually come up with like a file or an album in our team page where we can see, like I'll post screenshots of my conversations of like, this person was objecting to Shakeology, this is how I handled it, and this is how I turned the conversation around. Or this person was objecting to price, this is how I handled it. Or this person just had a bazillion questions, or just so that you guys can kind of see more how my conversations flow, just because I think it helps to see people's conversations, just to see it's one thing for me to say like, this is how I handle it, but it's another thing I think to see like actual dialogue back and forth. So that's on my list to do that right now. So that way we have something that you guys can always refer back to and see like, okay, this is how Mackenzie typically handles this type of situation that comes up. So it's been funny because I was actually really relieved when I was reading through your guys' comments, and like Nicole had commented that she wasn't necessarily getting people like objecting to price, but mostly just saying that like right now is not a good time. And that's pretty much what I came across with Carrie and with Ashley and the examples that I was reading through, which is actually really good news for you guys, because it means that you're connecting with people and you're planting seeds. And obviously those seeds take time to grow. So all those people that So I wouldn't consider those people, like every example that I saw, to be a true price objection. A true price objection, which that's why I find to be pretty rare, like for me to experience somebody that's like, oh, heck no, that's way too expensive. Usually they don't come out and say that. Sometimes they do. But every now and then, like, I'll get one of those, but it's honestly not very often. Most of the time what I get is people saying like, I can't do it right now. I really want to do it. I have to look at my budget, or, you know, I'm going back to work next month, so things will be a little bit better, or I have this big bill I have to pay, so once I get that out of the way. So I think with those people that it could be a few different things that we have to think of. Could be sticker shock, which is for sure, I think a lot of people get that. I had that too when I signed up. I mean, I didn't have a legit conversation with Lindsay when I signed up. It was pretty much like I applied for like to be on her team, and when I got selected, it was all through email. So she emailed me basically like a generic email that she sends to everyone. That's basically like, okay, this is how you sign up, pick your challenge pack. And it says nothing about like, you know, you don't really get a chance to object the way that she does it. So when I pulled up the challenge pack page, having no clue like what I was even getting into, and I saw the challenge packs for, they had no good ones at 140. Like it was like Turbo Jam and like Slim and Six. None of the ones that I was like really interested in. So, and Lindsay was doing Shalene Extreme, I think at the time. So that's the one that she was kind of hooked on. And and I love Shalene Johnson. So that was the one I picked. So that one was $180. And coming from somebody who was on a fixed income of unemployment, which was basically nothing, I basically made just enough to pay my bills at that time, because I was only working in the salon like one day a week or one day every other week. So it was like very little because I wanted to be home. So we basically made, and at that time mine and Joe's money was separate. So I made basically just enough to cover my basic bills. So there was nothing extra. Like I literally did not have 2 pennies to rub together for a pedicure, which was something that I always treated myself before Emmy was born. So a lot of those things went out the window because to me, being home with her was my priority. So $180 plus tax and shipping on a challenge pack was like, holy cow. But I put it on my credit card and I didn't really have a chance to object to it. So I think a lot of times when you have an initial conversation with somebody and they ask for the price and you tell them, I think a lot of people's reaction is sticker shock, but they don't want to come off as rude, or you know, they might not they might not return your message, or they might kind of go MIA because they don't really know what to say. So I want you guys to always kind of think of that in the back of your head, that the initial exposure of the price, usually it takes a couple exposures, like for them to be like, okay with it. So like, I find that the first time somebody's, like I'm talking to somebody about a challenge pack, usually it takes a few conversations before they're just like, most of the time they're not just like, okay, give me the link. Most of the time that doesn't happen that way. Every now and then it does happen that way. But when the conversation kind of goes quiet, I think of it as giving them time to like digest, like let them kind of think about it. And the real honest truth is, if somebody's really ready, they'll do it, because $140 is honestly, I mean, it may still be like kind of like ouch to them to do it, but in the scheme of things, as far as what we spend on Starbucks, Jamba Juice, like eating random stuff, and other weight loss programs, like we are cheap. We are really cheap. Like Jenny Craig and all those other things, like Nutrisystem, like the basic plans cost like $500 a month. People spend that and they don't hesitate because they want results. And some of those other companies, you know, have their proven results. You see the commercials on TV and people get sucked into that. So $140 for what they're getting is actually really, really affordable. I mean, I honestly think that we could probably charge double and still not have a problem selling our stuff, because the way that once people start drinking Shakeology and they realize what they're getting, they realize how they feel, they see the results that they're getting, it is worth it. So I don't think I've ever had somebody that's like, I really didn't think that this was like worth the money. Like, because once they start getting results and once they start seeing how they feel, it's worth it to them. So, so when you first expose, like have a price exposure, I would say, and the conversation kind of goes quiet, just think of it as giving them time to digest. And a lot of you guys were in the conversations that I read, you guys did a really great job with putting yourselves in their position. So we always talk about that too. Like, I don't think it's cheap. I still don't think it's cheap. So I always tell people that, like, I still don't. I mean, when we get our like 2 to 3 auto ships a month of Shakeology, and I think about actually how much that costs me, like it still kind of like makes me like choke a little bit. But then I realize, like, you don't typically go to, like, if you were to go to Costco and buy 30 breakfasts, what would that cost you? I mean, it would cost you easily that much or more. And it's not going to be as healthy. So you have to think about that too. Sometimes people don't, well, most of the time, I think people don't think about how much they're spending on Starbucks when they go, even if they don't go every day, but like 4 times a week. Like 4 times a week times, if they're spending, you know, $4 on a latte and then an extra $2 or $3 on a pastry, I mean, like $7 to $8, I think, because I just recently went not that long ago and I was like, I almost had a heart attack. It was like $8. I got like a breakfast sandwich and not even, I think it was probably like a tall latte, and it was seriously like $8. And I was like, and I was hungry within like an hour and a half. I was like, dude, $8, like, and what did that do for me? I mean, it didn't really do anything except for like fill me up and give me a little bit of sugar for a little bit, and that's about it. So obviously we know the value of what we're offering, but I think a lot of times, like I talked to Lindsay about this briefly, and I kind of said, what is your best advice when you're dealing with coaches who are struggling with price objections? And she said, the majority of time when you're dealing with a potential customer or coach that has a price objection is because they don't understand really the value. So it's lack of perceived value. So they don't really understand what they're getting. So you guys did a great job of educating people, like, you're getting, this is what you're getting. You're getting, 30 breakfasts. You're getting workout DVDs that you can keep forever that have like lifetime guarantee on them. You're getting, can you guys hear her screaming? Like running around, or can you just hear me? Okay, good. So breaking it down for them so that they really understand. But I think honestly that all of those conversations that I read were just people that were not ready. So I think it takes, and sometimes like the exposures can take like, sometimes people need like a dozen times. Sometimes people need once or twice. That's why it's really, really, really important to be sharing in our Facebook and our social media presence the value of what we are offering. So comparing our stuff to other companies out there, showing that, not only does this meal give you all of your fruits and vegetables for the day, it's basically your multivitamin, it's your probiotic, it's and then it has all this extra stuff, that helps you, the adaptogen herbs that help you deal with stress. It makes your hair and nails grow, it makes your skin look better, it makes you sleep better, like all those added benefits that we feel we need to make sure that we're educating people in our social media presence, so that they know that they're not just getting a shake, that by the time they come to you and they see the transformation pictures and they see the invite for the challenge group, that they know that they're not just getting a protein shake and it's not just a meal replacement. I've had much better success in using the term superfood nutritional supplement and not using meal replacement. That's something that I learned at Super Saturday, like back in like January, I think, of this year. And I have had way better, like, I don't really get people objecting to Shakeology as much because I'm saying that it's a supplement. It is not, it's not distracting though. Okay. Emmy, be quiet, please. They're going to sit down and eat, so hopefully she'll chill out for a little bit. So for me, using nutritional supplement has been way more successful. So I don't know if you guys want to kind of play with that. But people, for some reason, people think of supplements being different than, like, I don't know, they think of it differently than just a meal replacement. So letting them know, like, you basically don't need to take a multivitamin if you're going to be drinking Shakeology. So that's an extra thing that you're spending, $20 a month on. For me, I was taking, vitamin D, fish oil, probiotics, and a multivitamin. I mean, like, that's 4 things. If you add how much, like, my fish oil is like $30, my probiotics are like $30 to $40, like, all that adds up. And that doesn't fill me up. That doesn't curb my cravings. That doesn't do any of the stuff that Shakeology does for me. So making sure that we're really educating people as far as what they're getting. And not just in private messages when they ask, like, what's Shakeology, because they may not, we have to also remember that people are only seeing 10 to 20% of your posts. They're not seeing every single post. So they may not know even what Shakeology is. But that, I think, was the biggest thing that Lindsay said when, people get, when they get price objections, it's because the potential customer or coach doesn't understand the value of what they're getting. So that's why I find, like, when I really break it down for people, like, you're getting 30 days of this, you're getting the workout DVDs, you're getting the 30 days of on demand, you're getting me as your coach, you're getting the challenge group, you're getting, like, this month they get the free tote bag with 21-day fix, which is awesome. And sometimes if I feel like they need a little extra something, I'll throw something else in there, because people love, to feel like they're getting a good deal. So sometimes when you say all that, it still isn't enough to, like, seal the deal. And in those situations, I find that it's because those people just are not ready yet. So it's going to take, like I said, it could take some exposures, can take, some people just need a few times. Some people follow you for 2 years and then they decide they're ready. Some people, I have a handful of people that, like, will message me every month. And it's the same conversation every month. And sometimes they're just like, and so then when they finally are actually ready, then they're just like, okay, send me the link. And you're like, oh, thank God, because that took forever. But then there's, sometimes people are just like, you have enough credibility with them that they don't need all of that time. Sometimes people, like, I'm a bargain shopper, I'm not gonna lie. Like, things sit in my Amazon cart for a long time before I'm actually like, okay, I actually really need this now, so I need to just go buy it. I like to shop around, so sometimes people want to do that, but we have to assure them that they're not going to find a better deal. And that's, Beachbody strategically does that, so that getting the challenge pack through a coach, which is the only way you can get a challenge pack, is the best deal out there. And they work very hard to make sure that they're shutting down other competition that tries to, other, like, vendors that pop up on Amazon, or other people that are trying to sell challenge packs, to make sure that we are truly offering the best deal. And they work really hard to make sure that we're very competitively priced. So, I mean, if you look at some of the other, companies like Herbalife and Isogenics and things like that, like, they're just selling supplements for the most part. Some of them are trying to do fit clubs like us. They're trying to mimic us, because obviously what we do works. But their supplements are expensive, so expensive. Like, I think it was like Advocare, Isogenics, one of those. It's like their weight loss, like, stack or whatever that they recommend for, like, weight loss for a month is like $300 a month. Like, that's crazy. People buy it. People pay it because they want results. So I think a lot of it is, and I talked to Becca Robinson about this, I posted in one of the groups, like, what do you guys, when you have people that are struggling with this, what do you find is, like, kind of the reasoning behind that? Because all of you are very bright, you're very smart, you're very great with your Facebook presence. And yet, this is why I was honestly so perplexed why so many of you guys were struggling with this. And she said that and it was kind of the same thing that Lindsay and Billy said, was that the coaches that were struggling with selling challenge packs and just in general, just struggling with growing their businesses, was because they were not educating their audience enough about like what they were doing and what they were offering. So I'm not saying that that's the case necessarily for all of you guys, but I just want you guys to think about that in your posts. So making sure that like you're truly adding value, you're truly sharing genuinely. And I think the other thing when I was really, because I've honestly been like really spending a lot of time thinking about how I can help you guys overcome this. And honestly, I think one of the other things is you guys aren't sharing enough pictures, like transformation pictures. Ashley, you do share on your like page. And because I went back and I kind of like looked at your guys' Facebook pages, and I think that that's one thing that like maybe we need to kind of come up with like maybe you guys can all be in like a test group or something, where we can come up with like a social media plan, like an outline of this is what you post every single week as far as kind of a structured, not like every single day you have to post these things, but like, you know, like how yesterday in our Gold Diggers group doing the Transformation Tuesday post. And that's always something that I always like think like I'll be sitting on Tuesdays like I need to post something and I'm tired and I don't know what to post. And it's like such an easy thing to do. But I think a lot of times we just get busy and we forget, or we get that kind of analysis paralysis, like Carrie was saying, where you just analyze too much. And a lot of times, like, you just gotta throw something up there. Like, if you guys like watch my posts a lot, like, I honestly don't think a lot of stuff through very often because I just put it up there. You have to get over that like perfection thing and just do it and just make yourself do it because you need to have a presence. So that's kind of something that I'm throwing like an idea around about, you know, doing something like that where we take like a month or a couple weeks where you guys really step up your game as far as your Facebook posts. Because like I said, like I don't really struggle with this very often. And I think it's just maybe because I have been in the game longer. And so I think maybe the credibility is there more. But I don't even have results. Like I haven't had like new pictures in a year at least. So I just recycle pictures. I use other people's pictures. And so that's all fine. And, you know, or sharing things from your challenge groups when somebody has a really great, you know, victory, making sure that you're talking about that stuff so that people are, it's always kind of like on people's minds that they know that that's what you do. Because I guarantee you guys, some people don't even know that that's what you do. I promise you, because there are some people that still come to me and they have no idea that like, that's what I do. like I just had a girl that I've been talking to for the last like couple weeks. And I touched base with her today and she's like, oh yeah, I was asking if she was still interested in my challenge group. And she said, yeah, I already bought my workouts. And I was like, what? I'm like, what workouts? And she's like, I bought the DVDs. I'm like, well, which ones? And because I sent her a link for a video to watch about 21 Day Fix. And we ended the conversation. She said she was going to watch the video. And I just said, okay, well, let me know if you have questions. So I was, you know, then she like never messaged me with questions. And that was my fault for waiting so long to follow up with her. But she just went on Beachbody and bought 21 Day Fix. And so today she didn't buy Shakeology or anything. And I, you know, so I had to let her know, like, if you want to be in the group, you have to have Shakeology, but we can upgrade you to a challenge pack and blah, 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 blah. So I have to follow up with her again to like do all the legwork to get that like moved over. But some people, like, she didn't understand, even though we had messaged back and forth over and over and over and over, that she didn't understand that like this is like my job, like this is what I do. So so sometimes too I think we have to kind of dumb it down for people. Like some people don't even know what a challenge group is, so sometimes it's like you gotta kind of talk about that, like, you know, in your challenge group invite, like basically like what it is that you're doing, because some people have no clue. Some people are just, you know, they just don't get it. So just making sure that you're really educating people and really providing value for people and not constantly spewing Beachbody, but sharing your life, you know, in a genuine way, which you guys are all really good about. But when you do your invites, making sure your, you know, your post for a challenge group or whatever, making sure you're being really clear. So sometimes like I do a post, like I'll probably do one maybe tonight about, you know, another blast for my challenge group that's starting on Monday, and saying, focusing on 21 Day Fix because A, I love that it's $140. B, it's the most popular program we have. They get an extra tote bag with it, and it gets people quick results. So, but I might just say like, this is what you're going to get, and break it all down. Like, you get all these you get these cute containers, you get a shaker cup, you get these DVDs, you get access to on demand, which is freaking awesome. You get all the stuff. So then people are like, then when they message me, they're like, how much is it? And I'm like, it's $140. They feel like they're getting a lot of stuff for that. So moving on. So you're always going to have people, period. Everyone is going to have people that don't want to spend the money. And guess what? I don't have a magic answer of how you deal with those people, because some people just won't. Like, the people that message me every month and they want it every month, and every month they cost the same, and every month I tell them it's the same thing. Those people, I don't waste my time on. I will answer their questions. I will send them the link. I will tell them, give them the info, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, so are you ready? Like, and putting like all my eggs in one basket. So I think, honestly, for all of you guys that are struggling with this, it's because you're not talking to enough people. And somebody had pointed out that, or I'd heard on a call or something, I've heard this ratio like several times, that it takes on average, it's about average, that for every 1 out of 10 people you talk to will buy a challenge pack. That is low, like 10%. So if you're banking on Success Club, on average, you're going to need to talk to like 20 to 30 people a month. Like, how many of you guys are talking to that many people? Like, once you've posted your invite for your challenge group, like, let me tell you, this month I counted today new people that I have that like I'm needing Success Club points for, like 2, 5, like 6. I'm at 6. And I feel like I've been talking to a lot of people. So you guys have to think about that. Like, in the beginning, when I first started, like my very first month or 2 of coaching, I probably talked to close to like 30 to 40 people a month to get my 6 points. Yes, that sounds very discouraging because that's a ton of people. But the thing is every single one of those people were seeds that I planted. So they may not have bought the first month, the second month, the third month, the fourth month, the 10th month, the 12th month. But like, the 16th month, they were ready. After seeing my post for 16 months straight about a challenge group, they were finally ready. So those are not seeds that are wasted if they say, like, I can't do it right now. And it feels like it takes forever sometimes to get those people on board. But you don't want to put all your eggs in those, like, so if you're only talking to maybe like 2 or 3 people, and all those people say like, I can't do it this month because I have this, or let me think about it, or whatever or they don't return the message or whatever. If you're banking on those 3 people, and they obviously in their head, they may be having like a heart attack over the price, or they may be just truly like, it's not in the budget this month, or they're just not ready, because that's honestly, I find like that's really the case. Somebody really can't afford it, which they're for sure. I mean, I was one of those people, but I wanted it bad. So even for me, like, I didn't have $180 to spend. I did not. I put it on my credit card that was separate from Joe's. We don't have any credit cards together, but I knew he wouldn't know about it. So I could do it behind his back. Am I saying you should tell everyone to put it on their credit card? No, absolutely not. But for me, the place that I was in my life, I needed it. I was ready for a change, and I didn't care. So we have to think about that too. So when somebody is really, really ready, like, honestly, when I find those people that are truly ready for change, they generally don't like have an issue. So think about that when you're talking to your people, because if you're only talking to 2 or 3 people and all 3 of those people just aren't there yet, and that's totally fine, obviously that's not going to get you to Success Club. So it's not anything that you're doing wrong. It's just that those people just aren't ready, and they just need time for those seeds to grow. So I think I was talking to Carrie about this, and she said, okay, well, what do you do to help take care of those people, like, in the meantime? And I still will check in with them every now and then. Like, I'll still have conversations. I still like and comment on their posts. as long as there wasn't anything weird or awkward about like the end of our conversation. But I still kind of interact with them. I still kind of like I want them to keep me kind of like in the back of their mind. So especially if somebody is, you know, if they think it's a scam, like I make sure over the next couple of weeks, I'm sharing a lot of like success stories, or I'm sharing a lot of transformation pictures or victories or whatever, so that they kind of subconsciously will see it and be like, okay, well, maybe that is like legit. So just thinking about those things. So my biggest advice right now, honestly, is you guys are doing great in your conversations, and you're doing great with connecting people, and you guys have been very genuine in your messages, which has been great, very relatable, very understanding. So all of those things are really good. I think honestly at this point, it's just a numbers game. I think you're just not talking to enough people, and you're not sharing enough results, because people want to see pictures, period. Like they want to see results. They want to see that it works. Okay, go sit with daddy, please. I'm almost done. Babe.
No.
And this is why I normally lock myself in a room. Do you want to go sit in mommy's room and watch TV?
No.
Do you want... Why don't you... Maybe you can go... We can paint your pumpkin tomorrow. Go get your chicken nuggets and sit with daddy, please. I'm almost done.
Right here.
Okay, if you're going to be over here, you have to be quiet then.
I
Okay, so personally, I think the issue is just not talking to enough people. So like I said, in the beginning, in my first month, I probably talked to like 30 people at least. And the 2 people that joined my challenge group were like my best friend, and then somebody that she knew. So, but I planted a lot of seeds in that first month. So eventually it took time for those seeds to grow. They came around, and most of the time people were, I would have to go back and look and like see who it was, but most of those people have bought challenge packs at some point in the last 2 years. So I know it's kind of discouraging to think like, oh, it could take 2 years to get this person to buy a challenge pack, but some people just are not. Some people, it just takes time. So I want you guys to think about like your activities that you've been doing daily right now. And if you're struggling to hit Success Club, you need to be like doubling or tripling what you're doing. So the amount of people that you're adding on a daily basis, like adding 2 friends a day is not going to cut it. You need to be adding like 8 to 10 friends a day. Inviting to if you guys will find too, like when I invite for a challenge group, I typically start like 2 weeks before the challenge group's going to start. Because I feel like if you start way too early, then it's like, people are like, when is that ever going to start? Like it's been going on forever. So I typically I'll do a post about 2 weeks before, and then I'll do one probably about 10 days before, and then I'll do one probably about a week before. Like it's like every couple days, because I want to keep it fresh in people's memory. I want people to like look at it and be like, oh, I really want to do that. But then they haven't messaged me yet. And then by like maybe the 3rd or 4th time they've seen it, they're like, okay, I'm really curious now. So then by the time they message me, that gives me a couple days to still continue in messages, answer questions. So I probably blast for a challenge group. I mean, it depends on the month, and it kind of depends on my points for the month. Like right now I'm sitting at 2 points. So I'm going to be like hitting it hard over the next like week, because I got to get 10 points. So you have to think about that too. You can't just do one challenge group post and have one person message you and then be like, well, I just suck. Like nobody wants to be in my group. You need to be posting about it all the time, and not using the same post, not bumping the same post, not sharing my post, like creating new eye-catching images, new stories, new information for people to digest. So sometimes it's really exhausting, and sometimes I'm like, okay, like I gotta have a little faith here, because people aren't biting, and this time of year can be trickier because of the holidays. It just is reality. But like I've been saying for months, do not use this time of year as a reason to just not do it. because the truth is there's family pictures, there are holiday parties, there are, there are people that need the support right now. So don't be one of those people that just cruises right now and just says like, I can't do it. Like nobody's jumping in. Even if you have one person, like take that one person under your wing and let's do it. So what else did I take in my notes? So try doubling or tripling your activity. So adding more people to your network, posting more about your challenge groups, sharing more transformation pictures and victories from challenge groups. And even if it's just yourself, like today I rocked. I was able to do 20 push-ups and I could only do 5 when I started or whatever. Like I can't even do real push-ups. So that would not be one for me, but you know what I mean? Like just sharing stuff so that it's kind of constantly in people's mind. You also want to keep in mind that you don't want to be word vomiting Beachbody 24/7 because people get sick of that. You want to make sure you have a good balance, but make sure that you're still talking about it. That's why I have no issue with you guys bringing people into my groups and me running the groups. But you got to recruit for them. Like, I mean, when you're out on your own and you're doing it on your own, like when Lindsay like released me to be like run my own groups, like I was freaking terrified. I'm like, what if I only get one person? Like, what do I do? That's why we're all here as a team to partner up, to team up with each other so that we can actually run a decent sized group. And now, the groups range from anywhere from like 20 to 30 people. I never thought in a million years I would have that many people in a group. But it just happens organically over time. So stay patient, stay hungry in the pursuit of helping people. Know that it's not you guys. Like the fact that like you're not hitting Success Club is not because you suck. It's not because nobody likes you. It's not because you're not inspiring. It's not because like, you suck at this business. Like it's because honestly, personally, I believe that it's just a numbers game. You're not talking to enough people. You're not posting enough. You're not sharing enough. So it's like, they tell you hit Success Club 5 if you want to grow your business. But I found that doesn't really grow your business that much. If you want to grow your business, you hit Success Club 10, which is doubling your activities. It's doubling the amount of people that you're helping. So you have to like, and any like, top coach will tell you that, like if you're really struggling with something, you need to be doing extra personal development. And that's always kind of been like the thing for me. Like when I get into a really bad funk and I'm always like trying to shake it, like what's going on? It's usually because I haven't been working out regularly. I haven't been following a meal plan regularly. I haven't been doing my personal development regularly or doing the type of personal development that I need at that time. So like when I'm really struggling with, fear or leadership or whatever, like do your personal development on those things. So for you guys, if you're really struggling with hitting Success Club, you need to be on YouTube every day, finding videos to help you give tips on how to hit Success Club, what tips and tricks other coaches use to hit Success Club. Or if expanding your network is something that you struggle with, like that's what you need to be focusing on. If leadership is your area that you want to focus on, you need to be focusing on that. So don't just do like random personal development because you have to get it in. Do something that's going to be benefiting you for what you really, really need at that time. And it changes. Like there are times, sometimes you just feel like you just suck, like, and you're just having one of those days and you need a confidence boost. And that video that Vito Lafata did from Leadership was really good yesterday. Maybe you just need to sit down and read You Are a Badass because that just really gives you a nice like boost of confidence. So, so make sure that whatever you're doing for personal development, that it's not just like, all right, well, I have this book, The Compound Effect, like I should just read it, although that is a good one. If you're feeling, yes, I think you should stick to read a whole book, but if you have a day where you're needing something specific, do that. So I know that this was kind of like, you might not be feeling like there was tons of like tangible like nuggets, but I wanted to just reassure you guys that I don't think that it's anything that you are doing in your messages that is like ruining your chances of hitting Success Club. The messages that I read were really good and you guys were giving great information. I just think those people weren't ready. So which you guys should find very comforting and not take it personally, because there are always people that aren't going to be ready. Like I said, there are always people that are not going to spend the money. But I find that like my ratio, like I've talked to 6 people that are interested that like I could get points from for this month. Out of those 6, I could probably easily get 3 to 4. That is not to brag. That is just because I have been doing it long enough, and that I just don't take it personally. When somebody tells me no, I'm not like, oh, I can't do this. I guess I'm just gonna give up like this month. Like I had a moment like that last month. Like I don't know whatever day I posted that. I don't know which group it was in, but when I was just feeling like I was sitting at 7 points, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just at 7 points, and that's just reality. And it took me like having just that switch in my head. Like I had just had to like knock myself out of it. Like, no, that's unacceptable. You're hitting 10 points and it's not even an option. And then I don't remember what I at the end of the month at, but I hit 10 obviously, but you have to just sometimes like when you get caught in like one of those cycles mentally where you're just like spinning, you just have to just knock yourself out. And you just have to do something different. So do a different workout, do a different, like, go have your pity party for an hour and then be done. And just like tell yourself that because Success Club, how many people do it? A lot of people do it. I mean, I'm on like I don't even know, 28th month or something of hitting it. And did I think that it was really doable in the beginning? No, I was like scared. I was like, oh my God, all-star, like who can do that? But the thing is like, I just tell myself every month it's non-negotiable. So when I know that it's getting close and it's getting down to the wire, what do? I extra invite. I hit it hardcore. I add more people. I do extra personal development. I'm making sure that I'm sharing like a lot. I'm making sure I share my workout pictures. I'm making sure, I'm just doing more of those activities. So think about that. Look at where you stand as far as being honest with yourself about how much work are you really putting in, how much, and like I said, like I don't cold invite ever, I never have. And that might be bad, but it's one of my fears. I don't like it. It scares the crap out of me to do that. It makes me feel icky, sticky, and I don't like it. So I don't do it. That may be kind of screwing myself in the long run. I could maybe hitting like 20 points a month if I did that, but I just don't, because it doesn't feel good to me. And I want to be genuine with myself and authentic. So I don't do that because I don't like it. So I let people come to me. So sometimes when I do a challenge group invite and nobody messages me, I'm like, okay, I got to regroup. And I got to, revamp, and I got to do another one, and I got to change it up. And that's usually what I do. And usually, it takes a few times before I get enough people that I can like kind of pick from, like, okay, this person seems really like
Mommy, where did we buy that burger from?
You got it from In-N-Out Burger.
Which one did we get it? From In-N-Out Burger.
So the 10 people, 1 out of 10 ratio that buy challenge packs, that will improve with time. I know that it feels like really daunting thinking about like, oh my God, I have to talk to 30 people. How am I going to do that? And it's different for everybody. And I think that like my ratios improved over time. I could probably talk to 5 people and sometimes get all 5 of them. So it kind of depends on the month. It kind of depends on how I've been sharing. So this is kind of a really fluid thing. There is no like hard and fast ways of dealing with price objections, because a lot of it is things that are out of your control. You can't control the price of challenge packs. You can't control other people's financial situations. You can't control whether or not somebody's really ready. There are always people that are super cheap out there that'll never spend it, period. There are people that will spend it but are hesitant and they want to do their research. So all those factors that you don't have control over, you guys need to stop taking them so personally and just focus on helping people. And when somebody says they're not ready, you just let them know that you're there to help them when they are ready, and you move on and talk to more people. Because really at the end of the day, and I think Amber can probably say this too, like her ratio is probably not 10 people. She's been hitting Success Club 10 every single month this year. And maybe I'll have her talk for a second about that, just because but she's been in it longer. She's out of everyone on this call, she's been in, besides me, she's the next person who's been in it the longest. So so it does improve with time. But I think a lot of it is just credibility. People need to see that the products work, and the only way they're going to see that is by you sharing that in your posts, and not being like, you guys all do a great job of not being like salesy, like, here's my link, come by. But I think really that comes from, like, Amber does such a great job, if you guys are not following her, which I'm pretty sure you guys probably all are, on her Facebook page, with just being very authentic and genuine. She shows her meal prep, she shows her workout. I mean, every single day when I'm laying in bed, this is so embarrassing. I'm laying in bed because Emmy sleeps late and I cannot get up at 5 a.m. to work out. I see Amber's workout pictures or her videos in the morning, and it's seriously every day I'm like, damn, like, she has her act together. She is one of those people, and that's why I believe that she does not typically have a hard time hitting Success Club, because people see that consistency. They see that and they're like, she knows what she's doing. So you have to kind of build that with people, and that doesn't happen if you're not doing it. And it doesn't happen if you're not sharing it. So that's why, like, post those freaking workout pictures all the time, because we all know if you don't post a picture on Facebook, it didn't happen. So yeah, so I'm going to stop talking for a second. Amber, if you don't mind, like, sorry to put you on the spot, but if you don't mind maybe sharing, like, how you deal with price objections, or if just kind of like your 2 cents on hitting Success Club, or just anything that you feel like is important to add, or like maybe what's really helped some of your girls that just hit Success Starters that have been doing really well, like kind of what you've been teaching them, or if you have any like wise nuggets of wisdom you don't mind sharing.
Okay, I'm mid giving Zoe a bath. So
okay.
Sorry. No, I can still talk. But if you hear her in the background. Yeah, Success Club. And wait, do you want me to talk about Success Club or price objections?
Just like kind of whatever you feel like when you're structuring your month, like how many people do you typically have to talk to? And when you get somebody that, when somebody has a price objection, do you find that it's a true price objection where they're like, heck no, I'm never spending that? Or if it's just kind of like, I need to digest it, I need to think about it, and let me see if, this month, it might not work this month, but next month would be a better month. Like, what do you typically come across when somebody has an issue with price?
When someone actually has an issue with price, a lot, like 9 times out of 10, they won't get it then, but they will come back and get it later. They see your consistency and they see that everyone else is getting results that was interested. And there's like, case in point, Rachel's story, one of my clients that just hit Success Club. Success Starters. She was seriously following me and asking me questions for, no joke, like almost a year, guys. But she was always watching me. And she bought her first Shakeology bag on freaking eBay. Okay. And she just was not because she was just all about the price and not wanting to commit, but then just watching me and watching my consistency and finally actually just trying the product herself, not the best way, but she tried it herself. And then I was very nice and let her into one of my groups, which obviously paid off because now she's a successful coach. But it was just, the big thing was just being consistent. Like Mackenzie says, I do every day, make sure, I do my workout. I make damn sure that everyone else knows that I did my workout too. If I make a yummy recipe, heck yeah, I am making the pictures. I'm putting out like a recipe. Is it inconvenient? Does it take time out of my day? Heck yeah. And half the time I just want to get my 30 minutes in and out, but I literally will take the time. I won't wash my hair that day if I know that I need to sit down, put something together for a post and put it out there, because Monday through Friday, I'm putting something there in the morning. That is cut. It's just a non-negotiable. It just needs to happen. So I think just, price objections in general just all stems from, you just putting yourself out there and being able to, like, I don't know, when people do message me, I will say, okay, well, what is your daily thing and all that mumbo jumbo that you guys have already heard. But bottom line is, like, if they really want it, they're going to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's honestly the bottom line, is like every single message that I read, none of them were saying, no, I'm never going to buy that. They were all kind of like, okay, I'm just, like, I need to. And like I said, sometimes, like, just like she said about Rachel, she was watching her for a year. Like Casey, we've been talking for a long time. I've never bugged her. She was freaking using Beachbody programs this whole time. I'm like, dang it. She is already doing everything that we already do. So we have to just, like, be mindful of that. Like, people are watching you whether or not they're messaging you or not. So if you're not posting your workout pictures and you're not sharing what you're doing, then they'll move on to somebody else that is. And that's happened to me before. Like, I've seen people sign up and I'm like, oh my gosh, she messaged, like, just recently I had somebody who I literally talked to for, like, I don't even know how many times, so many times. And she just got a challenge pack. And I was like, oh, like, I was so mad. But then I was like, you know what, at the end of the day, like, bless and release, I want her to get results. Like, that's awesome. And sometimes we have to just, like, in situations like that, like Rachel bought her bag of Shakeology off eBay. Like, I have a few people right now that have messaged me that they're like, I already have Shakeology and I already have this. Can I be in your group? And I'm like, okay, but that's not what it's about. So we have to remember, like, the consistency, like, and I know that sounds so lame and so boring, but, like, it really is honestly the secret sauce. Because if you're not consistently posting, you're not consistently sharing, you're not consistently taking, like, your progress pictures. That was one thing I did in the beginning. I was, like, very on top of my progress pictures. I took them every 30 days and I posted them every 30 days, whether or not there was a huge change. I wanted people to see that. But Amber is really, really, really good about, like, when she says that she's up and she's, she has a post, like, she means it, because I see it every day. And that's kind of the attitude that you have to have. I definitely have days where I'm just like, oh, I know I need to post something. I don't want to post something. I don't want to take pictures of this. I don't want to type up this recipe, like, all the time. And sometimes you just have to do it. Like, while you're building, it just has to happen, because those people that need to see that consistency, if you're not giving it to them, then they will find another coach that is, because there are lots of other coaches out there. So that's why you have to be constantly, just trust me, it's like tiring. I mean, there's definitely days, like, I'm sure Amber has these days too, like, now being in the business for like 2 years, it's like, you're like, I have nothing left to say. Like, what else do I talk about? I've already shared all my struggles, but, like, you have to keep sharing them and keep sharing those things over and over, because you're adding new people are seeing your stuff. Like, and sometimes people just need to see it 50,000 times before they're like, okay, sign me up. And then I have this happen probably at least once a month, where somebody will sign up and buy a challenge pack and then they don't do anything. They don't participate in the challenge group. They don't return my messages. They don't, like, their box is sitting there unopened, or, like, hello, I'm like, you just spent $160. Like, go use your stuff. And they, just for whatever reason. So those people are not ready. The people that are ready will do it. They'll trust you. They'll be excited, and they'll get results. So you have to just keep that in the back of your head, that it's not about you. It's really just about them mentally being ready to, like, make a change in their life and actually do it.
Can I say one more thing about the whole consistency? You were saying about the girls that just sex starters. They are literally posting at least 3 times a day, every day, ladies. They are putting their workouts every morning. I am liking all their posts because they are putting their workouts, every morning. They are sharing tips. They are putting motivational quotes out. They are showing, their families working out with them. It's every day they're having 3 posts up. So, like Mackenzie said, it's not a secret sauce. It's literally just like putting yourself out there and having everyone watch you. And the whole time thing too, like, Zoe, sorry. The whole time thing too, people, like, want to see that you're going to be in it for the long haul. Mm-hmm. Like I've been doing this for, I think August was 2 years. So it's been a long time and people are still following. So as long as you put in the time and the work and the effort, it like you guys will see it, you will be successful in this business. You just kind of have to put a little skin in the game first.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that another thing I was going to ask you guys to do, it's going to be one of our little challenges like for this week, is if you have not taken like pictures recently, I don't care if you're in banging shape right now, like you're taking pictures, you're doing something. I want you guys to go through like, all of your fat pictures. Like Nicole, I was thinking about this with you, like with your pregnancy, like I hope you have some pictures of like either like, right, not that you even really gained weight, you were still so tiny, but like something. Like if you've never like done a before and after, or you haven't done one in a while, you need to do one. Like I never in a million years thought I would enjoy going through my fat pictures and picking out the worst ones. But the thing is when you start to get results, you like I'm so pissed at myself for not taking bathing suit pictures right after Emmy was born. Like that is happening this time. And even though that is going to be like terrifying, embarrassing, because people are like, oh, you're a coach and didn't you work out and your body looked like that after you had a baby? Like, oh, like, but the thing is like, because I'm going to be so committed when I'm done with this pregnancy that I know that I'm going to be glad that I had those pictures. So I'm not going to share them for a while, but I'm going to have them. And that's one thing that I really, really, really wish I would have done. So I don't have a lot of pictures to actually pick through to choose from. So that's kind of why you see the same few that I have. I honestly don't know certain people don't ever take a picture of me. But if you do not have pictures that you have not taken, progress pictures, even if they don't have to be in a bikini, they don't have to be in, you know, anything revealing, but just something that's going to show a change, that needs to happen. And you guys need to be sharing those like at least once a month of yourself, because people need to see that you're doing it. I mean, I think workout pictures are a really good, important piece, but people need to see, that. Like, and I'm like a before and after picture, like I'm obsessed with them. And people, that honestly, I think speaks volumes to people because they want to see that it works. So,
I wish I had more pictures. Like I seriously have texted my sister and my mom. I'm like, do you have any of my chubby girl pictures?
yes,
like,
I know.
Bring them on. Give them to me. Like I think I was avoiding the camera like at my heaviest. Seriously.
Yeah, well, because that's natural. We all kind of do. Like if we don't feel good about ourselves, we don't really want to have photographic evidence of it. But I swear, like, that's why, like, you know, sometimes you have to, like, go through, like, I'll go through our old computer and, like, old cameras. I text, like, my sisters, like, any pictures you have, please send them to me so that I can just have more to choose from. And that's also, too, why, like, when you're feeling really good, take some extra pictures. Like, I have so many pictures. Like, that's why I was, like, my post the other day, I was going through my computer and I had all these pictures and I was just like, oh. Like, I miss, like, having a flat stomach and I miss, like, feeling, you know, the way that I did. So so just make sure that you guys are doing that too, because that is so important. Like Carrie, you've lost a ton of weight. All of you guys, every single one of you. Ashley, you've lost a ton of weight. Nicole, you've changed dramatically since you were pregnant with Shane. I mean, all of you guys. So I know Casey, you just kind of shared one recently, but like just making sure that that's something that you're making part of your, like, incorporating into your social media, because some people may not even know that you've transformed. Like if somebody just friend requests you, and that's why like me having my before and after picture as my profile picture honestly is one of the smartest things I've ever done, because people see my picture when I friend request them and they're like, oh, and they want to click on it just because we're nosy. Like that's just human nature. We want to see people. We want to see stuff like that. So when somebody, you know, clicks on my page and then they see that and they're like, wow, you know, obviously I had a transformation. So I think that helps me get friends. That helps people like be curious about what I'm doing. So it kind of like starts conversation without you having to even start a conversation. It just, you know, it is a conversation starter. So if you are comfortable with doing that, that's something that I would highly recommend, just because for me, it's worked really well. And then you just kind of rotate it every now and then. So does anybody have questions or anything they want to like touch on or pick our brains about? Sorry, I'm like all sniffly. I'm like recovering from a cold. All three of us have been sick all week. Everybody's good?
Can I say one more thing about putting stuff out there? I've been doing this whole like page training, and there's like been some really good content in it. And even if it's not your like page, like even just your personal page, Facebook really likes video. So the affinity is like way higher with video than it is with pictures. So if you guys can like video yourself doing your workouts, like even I have seen like just views and likes. I get so much more when it's a video rather than pictures. So if you can take the time out to do a video and like maybe do a cool song behind it on pick, play, post, those are always really highly successful.
Which like page training are you doing?
Jesse Regan.
Jesse Regan. Was it expensive?
$300.
That's not bad.
And I'm trying to figure out a way to share it, like, cause it's broken down in modules. Like he'll do like a little bit like a 10-minute training, and then like just it's broken down really well so you don't get overwhelmed, you know. So it's all about like putting together your ads and getting them to the least cents per like possible, and people are getting really big success with it. So I'm right now trying to put together a few videos and pics to put up and see how it goes, but I'm trying to figure out how to be sneaky about it. And last night I did a Zoom call with my team and played the modules during the Zoom call. But there's so many, so I was actually going to try to figure out how to maybe do a Zoom call with maybe one person on it, but not necessarily even having to listen, and just be recording the module and then upload it to YouTube as private, and then whoever wants it I can take their email. Yeah,
I know they make them tricky to be able to share them, which is why they want you to pay $300 for them.
I know, but I'm like, well, if I would have gotten in trouble, I probably would have gotten some kind of notification, and no one notified me. And I played like 4 modules last night with the whole team. So
well, that's kind of like what I did with my Instagram training that I paid for. Like I just gave everyone the login for, and I was like, man, I mean, I guess I don't think it'll work if more than one person's on it at a time. So I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Plus, like anything that you guys invest in for stuff like that is all write-off. So just make sure you keep track of it. So that's something that you don't have to count towards your income at the end of the year. And this is really cool because Casey just like virtually raised her hand. I don't even know how that worked, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'll unmute you so you can.
You just now saw that?
Well, I saw it pop up and I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" They like.
I've seen it. You can go to like participants and you can raise your hand. So
that's cool. Normally, I just like put your hand up.
Yeah, I did, but then I was like, "Oh, put my hand up." I know I asked you earlier this week about how you expand your network, and you said you join groups and then you just friend people that you connect with. But what type of groups, like how do you just add the groups? Do you search groups? What kind of groups?
So for me, what's been really, I mean, I just add groups that are like things that I'm interested in. So like I'm in like a lot of like beauty groups. I'm in like a lot of moms groups. Like right now, since I'm pregnant, I'm in like a bunch of pregnant groups. I'm in like birthing groups, nursing groups, like whatever kind of things you're like interested in. Like hobbies or moms groups are great. Places that you can interact with people and like, comment on threads and, you know, just interact with people. And then when you friend request them, I mean, sometimes I don't even interact. Sometimes I just go in and I'm like, click, 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 click. Okay. Half the time they'll accept, and I mean, usually if we have mutual friends, they're more likely to accept.
Okay.
1 or 2 mutual friends. If we don't have any mutual friends, sometimes they're hesitant. But because I friend request every single day, like I've just gotten kind of lazy about it. Some like before when I was in the beginning, like I was very like involved in like conversations and interacting. And now I'm just kind of like click, 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 click. If you like accept me, cool. If you don't, cool. Like whatever.
Okay. Shh, please.
So I kind of I go in groups that like I'm automatically like already going to be interested in. And they're like in like what we're called like our niche. So like for you, you know, it's going to be moms, it's going to be moms, it's going to be you know, things that you're already just kind of, you know, like I was in some high need kids groups because Emmy is high needs. And I had, you know, I actually would get some like helpful information for me outside of Beachbody, or like just what I mean, there's a bazillion, and I just like search on Facebook and I'll request to join, and then I just kind of hang out. Or, you know, like for me, obviously Moms and Tots has been huge for my business. That was totally not intentional. I did that before I was doing Beachbody. But it just kind of happened around the same time. And that's been huge because I'm an admin, so I can do whatever the F I want in that group. So I screen everybody before I add them in. I message them, I mean, you guys all see, I tag them in a post, and then I message them all so that they all kind of don't think I'm just some weirdo. So that's also something that like I highly recommend if you have something specific that you can, like for you, like, you know, like if you wanted to do a smaller group for like your town, or, you know, pumpkin growing group or whatever, you know, like just find stuff that people will automatically be interested in. So like for me with the moms group, like people will Google it and it'll pop up, and then they'll join. And then I have it obviously linked to Meetup too, but just any groups that's really just something that's you're already going to be interested in. Like I don't go in groups that are just totally random, because I still do post in them. I ask questions, I interact and share, you know, my input on things. But that's mostly how I do it. And then also I was talking to you about transformation videos. All of you guys that have had a significant transformation, you should be thinking about doing a video. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but that has also been something that has been huge for me because people, I mean, my video is up for 2 years now, because it was about 2 years ago this time of year that I put it up. I think it was like last month was 2 years. It has almost 500,000 views on it. And that's insane. I have not.
Mine's done, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid to put it out.
Anything to it. It's not fancy. It's not like I had literally, it was like the most basic thing. It was before I had my Mac. I had no idea. Like I have no techie skills. But I knew that was something that like could help me, because once it's on YouTube, it's up. Like it's there. It's like
I'm gonna have to send it to you because I'm afraid to post it.
You just got to do it. I was freaking terrified. Like you guys, 500,000 people have seen me in a bathing suit. 500,000 people have seen my fat pictures. Like,
yeah, because I got raw like pictures in sports bra and pants, and I'm like, do I really want to let that out there?
I know it's super scary, but the thing is like when you're Googling like T25,
yeah,
hello, you want to see those pictures. Like you just do. It's human nature. So that is something else that you guys want to think about. I need to do like I'm kind of stoked to get fat again because I can do another one. Sounds terrible, but you know, because like that's helped me a lot, because some people, they just go Google, and because I have so many, like, I don't know how many views, it was like 10,000. Yeah, I think it was like 7,000, 5,000 to 7,000 views. Once I hit that, which took like 6 or 7 months, because I just like put it up and I forgot about it because I wasn't getting like emails or anything like happening on it. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, I should maybe like check that, see if anybody had like left comments or anything. And I checked it and it was at like, I think it was at like 7,000-ish views. And I was like, oh my God, 7,000 views. Like that to me was like huge. I was thinking if I could get like 2,000 or 3,000, like that's awesome. And when it had 7,000, something happens like with the affinity on YouTube. Once it hits a certain number, that it just like gets boosted all the time. So once it hit 7, it was growing by like 3,000 to 4,000 a day. I think I hit 100,000 in February. So it was like December. I posted it in September. December, I had like 7,000 something. February, I had like 100,000. And then now it's slowed down a little bit, but now I'm at almost 500,000 views. And that just stays up. So people, that's how Erica and Dominique both found me. I've had several challengers that have found me that way. So you never know. But that's something that's like very easy to do. And then you can put in all those like tags. So like T25, Tony Horton, Shanti, Beachbody, you can tag all that stuff in those videos so that they pop up more often. But that is something that's huge because then that's also too, I put all my contact info. So then they find me on Facebook or they'll email me. I get lots of emails, and then I'll find them on Facebook. So that's kind of another way of doing it too. It's not really as much work because it just is doing its own thing by itself. So that's something to think about if you guys haven't done that. I mean, video was totally not the platform that I ever thought I would ever want to do because I was terrified of video and seeing myself on video and hearing myself on video. I was like, that is not something I want to do. But Lindsay kind of like made me do it. She's like, you have to do it. Like, it just, you need to be on more than one platform. And YouTube is great because like YouTube is like the new Google. I feel like if I don't know how to do something, I YouTube it because I'm like such a visual person. I need to see. So like anything on my computer, I'm like, YouTube, how do I do this on iMovie? How do I, whatever. I mean, people do that first. So like makeup tutorials, my eyebrows. Like you guys hear me talk about my freaking eyebrows all the time. I'm obsessed with eyebrows. How do I learn how to do eyebrows? YouTube. Like people are like, you should make a video on how to do your eyebrows. I'm like, just tutorials, like everything's there. So that is something that needs to happen. And even if you guys aren't like at your goal weight, like if you've lost a significant amount of weight, which all of you guys have, if your body's, even if you haven't even lost a significant amount of weight, your body can change dramatically within like 10 to 15 pounds. Like somebody can change so much. Putting that up and doing it and just getting it out of the way, because then you can just check it off your list and then you don't have to do anything with it. And it's just great because it just does its own thing and it grows. Does anybody else have questions? Anything? Do you feel like you got some like helpful tips, like more like reassuring that you're not doing anything wrong? That made me feel good. Like when you guys were sending me messages, I was like, I know that these girls, like, there's no way that this can like be the only thing that's holding you guys back, because you guys are all like fully capable and you guys all have stories. And so I think that that's the other thing too, is also just getting really raw with your story and being really real about stuff, like talking about the really hard stuff, talking about the stuff that you don't want to talk about, and just because that's really honestly I think why we're on Facebook, why we connect with people. We all have people we follow for specific reasons, but I get a lot of messages from people that are like, when I shared about like my postpartum depression, when I shared about like when I shared just like those really raw, like vulnerable things of like being overweight and my postpartum body and all of those things that like you never want to talk about because it is just painful. But then when you realize how much that could like touch somebody else's life and make them feel validated, like that's huge. And I think that really helps to build your credibility with people when you're just honest and you talk about the stuff that sucks.
I'm gonna go to the store.
You're gonna go to the store?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to go to. Can you go?
Okie dokie. Well, if everybody is good, then we'll hop off so I don't have to take some more of your guys' time. Thank you guys for being flexible on the time tonight. I don't know if this time is better for some of you guys or harder, because it's maybe a little bit later than dinner time. Or we can play with doing it earlier, because I feel like this time might be tricky and my Wednesdays are getting a little bit easier to manage. So thanks for being on and have a great night, and I will talk to you guys all soon then. See you later.